The Berlin Fanfest for Final Fantasy XIV dropped a ton of news for the next expansion, Evercold. From a new tank, a Final Fantasy VII raid, Tifa glamour, and a further look at the world of Evercold. In today's video, let's go through it all and prepare ourselves for our frozen foray into the fourth. Hello everybody, it's your boy Jmulls, and let's Bastion. And they revealed the new tank, entitled Bastion. It's a big, beefy main tank using two gun shields called Skilt Borg. And it sounds like a bit of a skilt issue to me. And as was covered in the North American Fanfest, there are two action modes, two ways to play your jobs. Reborn mode and Evolved mode, Reborn being the old style. Because Bastion's a new tank, it is only going to have the Evolved mode. It starts at level 90 and also starts in Limsa Lominsa, so rest in peace to anybody trying to log in on Limsa Lominsa of all places on patch day. Located in the vast expanse of the Northern Empty, Airslaunt has long been protected by indomitable bastions, heritors of the ancient martial techniques developed over generations by the archipelago's rulers. Finally getting some Northern Empty lore, let's go. It is said that no raider's axe can penetrate a bastion's hulking Skiltborg, and one would be foolish to try, for the shape-changing Great Shield's ethereal artillery has brought a swift end to many a marauder, be it from near or far. Alright, so here's my thing, right? It would be lore accurate if these guys were accounted to warriors in PvP, I'm just saying. And as you can imagine, Yoshi P went in on the cosplay. Dude was boiling alive throughout this entire presentation because of it though. Bastions are going to be main tank. Remember, they are evolved only, so they're going to fulfill the main tank role. They're going to have a lot of defensives and cures. They have two giant shields strapped with either cannons or these giant like claw trident hook things. They look really cool to me. And yeah, the animations look pretty sick. Nothing over the top or overly flashy, kind of like a Paladin Requiescat, but I think they get the job done, and I think they look flashy enough to not be like overkill or anything like that, while still fulfilling the job fantasy of what a Bastion is trying to be. And also, when it swaps those modes for the Skilled Borg, it looks so dang cool in my opinion. Like, I just love the cannon fire you can do. The jump up in the air looks sick. I think it gets a good grasp on what a Bastion is trying to feel overall. The idea you can like shoot into the ground as well for an AoE, what I imagine it's an AoE. It looks pretty cool. I love the glamour set on them as well. I am going to be glamming over that helmet frame 1 though. I really like the look of them. The fourth, a reflection fallen into ruin, ravaged by ever-spreading ice. People abandoned the land and took to the skies, that they might survive. But there in the calm, something sinister lurked, and now we must face it, together. And then the face you make when you go to Berlin in summer, wearing full plate mail and also leather. It was a cool cosplay though, I will admit, but I want to focus right now on these giant airships in the world of the fourth itself, because they look awesome. So we knew from before that the way the people of the fourth survived this giant ice cataclysm was by taking to the skies, but now we know the form that took. Giant airships. And it seems that each of the airships, which will act as our zones, will be associated with a corresponding element. They showed off two main areas, Naglfar, the realm ship of water, and also Hringhorni, the realm ship of fire. They also showed off one of the main cities we'll be going to in Evercold, and it's called Fargoth, and it looks really dang cool. It kind of reminds me a mix of like the Zora city from Breath of the Wild, but also Uriah from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now, the areas themselves, as we suspected from the last FanFest, have a very Norse inspiration when it comes to the overall aesthetics, and I love the skybox we got going on over here as well. And there's a sense of scale and just grandeur to a lot of these zones that I really appreciate, in my opinion. This is far more in line with what I want to see out of an MMORPG, and just the sense of scale this like entire area has. I love it. I love the aesthetic Evercold has so far, and Evercold, when it comes to the leveling process, is going to be doing something kind of different than Final Fantasy XIV has largely been accustomed to. It's dipped its toe into non-linear leveling before. Back in Shadowbringers, when we first got to the first, we were able to choose whether we pursued after Alphinaud or Alize. It served largely as a prologue to those zones, but here, at some point in the leveling process, we're going to be introduced to an idea that we'll be able to pick a zone and go level there in whatever order we want. The example they gave was that after an introduction select 3 zone, we would be given a choice of 3. We could do those 3 zones in whatever order we want, and the game would scale according to whatever level we were at. That way the content was actually relevant and doable. They want to maintain balance when it comes to this system. So it's not just enemies and quests in the overworld that are going to be scaled, but also the duty associated with each of these zones. Your individual level will not be affected, but if you go into a new dungeon, and for instance, you're level 103, but there's somebody else that's level 106, you'll be fine, you'll still be able to do the content. They also recapped a lot of information from the NA Fanfest, and I mean a lot of it. But one of the main things they highlighted for the questing experience itself was essentially an auto travel toggle. It's nothing really fancy, it's just if you select for the game to do this, it'll just auto walk you to the quest objective. This was the main thing they talked about in their entire segment on improving quests. I personally hope there's way more than just auto move enabled, which is the name of the system we were just talking about, and you can see how it functions here. The objective gets pinged and it auto moves you to that location. It's not a fast travel, at least from the sounds of it, from what this appears to be. It's mainly there for if you get lost easily in certain locations or you just cannot find the objective for whatever reason. You just pop this on and the game will just take you there. I'm personally hoping they got more up their sleeve for improving quests than just this, but might be a nifty feature if you want to go get a drink or whatever. When it comes to improved character customization, they showed off a couple of things that I think it has some really interesting wider implications for me specifically because I play Highlander. But for instance, when it comes to aura horns, they're no longer locked to the face. And just as a heads up, stuff like the character customization isn't meant to be there for patch 8.0 entirely. As it says right here, my face was covering it up, staggered release planned from patch 8.1. They also showed off the ability to turn off Makode war paint, and today I learned that the one on the left is actually war paint. I thought it was just like a facial scar or something. They also changed up Lalafell and Vieira nose shading. I can see some people being upset by this, but personally I think it looks better, and they're the examples for the Vieira if you wanted to see those. They had a pretty large segment on the new difficulty for raids, and it is going to fit in the middle between normal and savage. And the way they put it, it's going to be about on par with extreme, if not a little bit easier. But when it comes to gearing, it's going to be a little bit different here. So savage is just going to work the way that it currently does. If you're content with savage, if you like savage, same gearing, it's the same thing. When it comes to the new difficulty, you're going to get this thing called season gear. As a reminder, they're basically just calling raid tiers seasons. So you'll get this gear and you'll be able to upgrade it over time. So when it comes to getting gear for the new difficulty for the raid, it'll initially be lower item level, but you'll be able to upgrade it over time to, in the way they put it, be almost on par with savage. I think it's supposed to be around savage for gear at the end of it all. It'll just take longer to actually get it, and if you want a more direct way to get that gear, you just do savage. They weren't overly clear on the item level here. They said closer to savage. That could mean kind of anything. That you'll get this season gear and you'll upgrade it to be closer to savage. Again, that could be anything. Really wouldn't surprise me if they haven't ironed out the exact specifics yet. They just know the general way that they want to implement this. Now, when it comes to same region player matching, that's going to first come to Japan on October 12th, and it'll come to North America, Europe, and China at a later date. They said they're still working through when it's actually going to ship everywhere else, but they did say they'll have more precise dates very, very soon. They showed off some new images for some of the dungeons, and I think they look really cool. They still are Final Fantasy XIV dungeons. It's just, I really like the aesthetic they have going when it comes to Evercold, but if you were hoping they were going to break away from the linear corridor simulator, that doesn't seem to be the case. But when it comes to the visuals, yeah, they look really dang cool. And they talked about jumping off when it comes to this dungeon specifically, so I imagine we're probably going to jump from like this platform all the way down to what I imagine is a raid platform down there. A lot of diverse aesthetics when it comes to the dungeons. You love to see it. And I absolutely love the attention to detail in a lot of the environments we're getting with Evercold. Like, the more you look at this image, the more you'll notice. It's so cool. They also showed off some of the new gear that we're going to be getting. I am a particular fan of the warrior set here, or at least what I imagine is the warrior set. Most warrior sets up to this point expose too much skin for my preference, and I really quite like how this one's turning out. Got some more here. I've seen quite a few people be really excited for this red mage one, though funnily enough, actually not my personal favorite. Maybe that's a hot take on my part. And then some of the professions here. I like the culinarian one though, I will say that. And then for the new threats, they showed off all of these. And this is continuing a trend that's just gonna be kind of recurring when it comes to Evercold for me. I freaking love the design designs. From this giant worm thing up in the top left, to this cool, like, bird angel lady with a hop over here, and this cool looking lizard guy. I love all of these designs. They look really dang cool. They are also overhauling the Chocobo companion system. You can actually bring these things into dungeons now. They will just replace a player. So if you want to go into a dungeon with 2 players and 2 Chocobos, I believe this is 8.1 on, but you will be able to do that at some point in the future, not on Evercold launch. They are also completely overhauling the Chocobo breeding system, and who knows what that's going to entail. But they made sure to reassure people that if you've already leveled the thing, your levels are going to be maintained. And as a reminder, this is not patch 8.0 stuff. This is for patch 8.1 on. It's going to be a recurring thing. They didn't really show more for Ghost of the Zai, which is the Alliance raid based on Evangelion, but they are bringing Mahira Maida on board. And this to me was the standout because the new raid series for Evercold is going to be based on Final Fantasy VII, entitled Beyond the Livestream. They brought the big guns on board for this thing, and it's going to have the 3 tiers of difficulty that we're talking about before. Normal, the new difficulty, and then also Savage. But that wasn't the only Final Fantasy VII thing there. With patch 7.56, we're getting the Final Fantasy VII Gold Saucer as well. How they're going to implement this thing, I'm not entirely sure. I personally think it's probably just going to be another floor of the Gold Saucer we know, but again, who knows here. And they didn't show off much that's going to be included with it, but they did show off this new minigame called Keybound Brawler. Think of it like Typing of the Dead. They also really hyped up the idea that they're going to be able to take this overall system and use it as a mechanism for a lot of future collaborations and stuff like that. Looks pretty neat to me. It's even going to have things like boss fights in this. Tifa and Barret Claimer will also come from the new Gold Saucer. You can also get a fashion accessory of Barret's gun hand, though we don't know how specifically we're going to get them. Final Fantasy XIV also launches on the Switch 2 Tuesday, August 4th. I think overall, when it comes to the Berlin Fanfest, they did talk about quite a bit, but they repeated so much information from the NA Fanfest that at the same time, it kind of feels like they didn't. But I will say, of the new stuff they showed, especially when it comes to the zones, when it comes to Bastion, Bastion just looks really dang cool. I absolutely just need to get my hands on it first, though, because it's a job. You kind of need to know what the actual abilities do. You can't just rely on animations looking cool, though it does look cool overall. The zones, the World of the Fourth, in my opinion, has one of the best aesthetics I've seen in Final Fantasy XIV in so dang long, and that's saying something. I love everything they have shown visually for this expansion. I love the grandeur of it. I love the size of it. I love the scale of it. I love the feeling of stakes that just kind of exist in the world, especially with the weather here. I love how visually diverse the World of the Fourth seems to be, and I love the idea of having a lot of these zones take place on the backs of giant airships. I love that kind of stuff. I eat it up. That sense of scale there where the game is able to make you feel small in this giant world, I love that feeling as well. Like this zone right here, Ring Horny, it's so dang cool. It's the Realm Ship of Fire, and it really makes you feel that. And then on top of that, the new city Fogoth, it just looks really dang cool. Like what a great aesthetic for a main city. I want to explore this place. I want to be in this place. I want to see more of it. And I think when a new zone is able to elicit that feeling so consistently with every new location and locale they show off, I think they've done a good job when it comes to that. Also, the music they showed off throughout this presentation, I love all of it. It sounds great to my ear. When it comes to the locations in the fourth, I think they did a great job of making everything feel unique to what has come before, but at the same time, even for a game with as many different aesthetics as Final Fantasy XIV, the aesthetics of Evercold feel like they're just right at home. I love how this place looks. I love the tone it has. I love the feel it has. I love the architecture. I love how kind of packed that the entire city kind of feels in a way. I love the lighting they have going on here, and I love the attention to detail. There are things that are absolutely large that just take up so much of the real estate on the screen if they're in view, but the closer you look at a lot of these locations, the more you're going to notice. And every new thing that I notice in these locations, I like and appreciate. To me, that's a win. Now, here's where you come in. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on Final Fantasy XIV Evercold after the Berlin Fanfest. Are you looking forward to it? What do you like it? What do you want to see more of? I'd love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, and hear your perspectives. And when you're down there, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. And we did get an expanded trailer for Evercold, and it has some juicy little tidbits to it. If you want to see my reaction to that trailer, you should check out this video right here for more. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.